In studio with myself today is Vince Orieux with the Holy Rosary Raiders Athletics, and as well the principal at the high school there. Vince, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, Evan. Thanks.
So Vince, we'll just start it off. The success you guys have had with the Raiders this season, you know, a couple teams making it to provincials and successful in playoffs. You know, what has that been like for you behind the scenes, I guess?
That's awesome. It's a great sense of pride. You know, we start back even with our cross country. We sent a bunch of athletes across country provincials, golf provincials, and then getting into the volleyball and football seasons, and a couple of teams taking those right to the very end of the season. It's amazing.
So what do you attribute that to? Is that, you know, just the program's been building up to this point for however many years, or just the athletes took that extra step, the coaches? What do you think that is?
It's a combination. I mean, whenever you get a bunch of student athletes that you know, buy into a program and they stick with it from the 8th grade all the way through the 12th grade, and they have some consistency in their coaching, and they do some off-season training, it all compiles into success.
For sure. And a couple things that I've seen is, you know, you guys have good feeder programs, whether it's the Red Dogs, which you are also a coach for, you know, feeding into your football teams, or whether it's those off-season volleyball teams, just that extra work getting put in. And then other places where you guys can put in extra work is the Synergy Vault. You guys have had that, been using it for 3 years now. Just tell me about how beneficial that's been.
Yeah, Synergy Vault's been amazing for us. Especially for the football program. You get later into the fall where the weather's not very nice and you can be inside, not worrying about the elements. Kids can focus on learning, coaches can focus on teaching, and I think that helps us get to the next level. Our baseball and softball programs, you know, are strong, and you know, they feed, it's kind of the opposite, they feed back into the community where they can make the local softball and baseball team stronger because we have those programs to enhance a kid's ability.
For sure, and there's that U15 baseball team this past summer that hosted Westerns, so we can just see, you know, how much they're improving in their own leagues because of this.
Yeah, they're in there, whether it's in a class or whether the baseball association and softball associations use the vault in the evenings throughout the winter for their training programs. They have to see benefit from that. The kids are swinging a bat, throwing a ball, and being together as a team. They can have their tryouts in the fall now instead of in the spring, and work together as a team for 8 months prior to their season. Huge benefit.
Now, Vince, you know, basketball season's starting up here. And I know from talking to you guys in the past, you don't start your basketball season in real basketball tryouts until you have your volleyball done and your football done. Just take me through why that is.
Yeah, well, we want the kids to be able to focus on the season that they're currently in. We don't want to risk injuries with kids doing 2 sports. And there's fatigue, and of course they still have to focus on school. So if they're doing 2 practices a day, it you know, mentally and physically it's draining. So we want them to focus on the season at hand, focus on their schoolwork, and then look at the next season. So I feel a little bit bad for the basketball coaches because their volleyball and football teams have had some success over the past few years, and we take it right to the end of November. But they're good coaches, they've got good kids, and you know, they're ready to go. We've got 8 teams participating in basketball tournaments this weekend already, so it's great.
And now, Vince, how many of those, you know, on those teams, how many kids are going to be multi-sport athletes that we might have seen through the volleyball teams or through the football teams? How many? Yeah,
it's going to be about 70% of those teams. Even at the junior high, kids were playing volleyball at the junior high or were playing minor football. And you know, they have a short rest, 2 weeks for the bantam football kids getting into basketball. And for high school football players, they had Sunday off and they were on the basketball court Monday for tryouts. And then the boys volleyball kids, you know, they had a couple weeks off, but now they're back into it. Girls volleyball had a day, and they were into it. So probably 60% of the kids haven't really had much of a break other than Sunday, maybe to decompress a bit.
And then how beneficial is that for your guys' athletics program, just having those multi-sport athletes and being very versatile?
Yeah, it's great, and you know, and then it translates into their badminton players too, and their track and field athletes, and those same kids are leaders in their school. That's the biggest benefit, is those kids buy in to being a student athlete, and they're leaders in our school. They're involved in athletics, but they're also high academics, and we see them in our student leadership as well.
Well, Vince, thanks a lot for joining me here. I personally am looking forward to watching all those athletes, you know, partake in basketball or whatever may be their future. So this was Vince Orieux with the Holy Rosary Raiders. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you.